Hey, welcome back to Corbellic Studios. Today we're going to be breaking down the foundation of six figures art business. All right, but this applies to any business that you're in. You could apply these fundamentals into your normal life, your everyday life. And I mean, really, this is really breaking down checklist, fundamentals, but a foundation so you can build things on. That way, if you're having a good day, a bad day, or if you're just having any kind of movement that's in your life, you can always rely on these foundations so that way you can always have a core to go back into, all right? I mean, these are things that I implemented in my art business in order for me to sell over 17,000 paintings. If I didn't have this, then I wouldn't have been able to succeed. I wouldn't have been able to make my profit margins. I wouldn't have been able to see into the future, because there's days where your business is going to hit a slump. You're going to have a bad day. You're going to have technical issues. You're going to have all kinds of things that come into your life. It happens. It's all part of life. It doesn't matter how hard that you try. You can't control these things. Only thing that you can control is you showing up and at least you having a fundamental foundation in your business, in your life, things that you can always look back into. Some of these things I even keep into my phone just so that way it's always with me, of a checklist of my whys, for example, you know, making sure that my whys are bigger than me, making sure that it's bigger than, oh, I just need to pay a bill, or, oh, it's about family, or it's about, I mean, all of those things are important, but as long as you make things bigger than your normal day things, then you're going to be able to really be successful, and you're going to have a foundation to go off of. Because one day, you're going to be able to pay off all your bills. You're going to be able to take your kids on vacation. You're going to be able to show up to work looking better than everybody, and you're already going to hit these milestones. But then what's after that? If you don't have a bigger goal that's after that, a bigger why, you know, I mean, sometimes even to be morbid, you could put these whys in your head of thinking that life is short and someone in your family it could be close to passing away, you know, God forbid. But you could put these type of things in your mind, and what would happen? What would you do tomorrow if you found out that your father, your mother, or somebody like that, they had a procedure or they needed a procedure? You want to rely back on that. So these are the foundations, the fundamentals, and things that we're going to talk about today of how to succeed. All right, so the first thing that I go off of is speed. Now, when I'm talking about speed, I'm talking about knocking art out. I'm talking about anything that you do in life. So, for example, when it comes to art, I make sure that I'm doing paintings within 10 to 12 minutes. Anything past that doesn't concern me, and I can't control it because the art is already there. The beauty is already there, and then if it's not, it's on to the next one. Whatever I'm trying to perceive or I'm trying to control, then that's all false. Look, we were lied to about how to create art, about what the beauty is, because the things that they told us is what's beautiful is things that we don't know and things that we can't control. Only thing that we can control is showing up, making the happy mistakes within this time frame, and then getting on to the next one. How this could also apply to you in your life or in your business or anything that you're doing. If it's not art, you could apply this by the more that you're creating, the more that you're doing, the more that you're showing up in life, the more mistakes that you can make. Look, when I show up here, every single time that I make a video, every single time that I'm doing a painting, even when I'm doing one of the paintings that I have on here, I feel like I'm vulnerable and I don't know what I'm doing. I say that all the time just so it can give me permission to be human, make mistakes, be authentic. I'm being vulnerable and I'm being transparent with you right now, where I'm just here. And as long as I can show up and I could just do as many, where I call it the lottery ticket. I call it the lottery ticket effect. I know you always hear me talk about this, but the lottery ticket effect is just me having more more tickets in effect. I have more things that I've done. I have more checklists. I have more things that I produced. All right. You want to be producing more than you actually consume. So that way you can make as many mistakes as you want. You could do anything that you want, even when it comes to, like I was saying, where I'm shooting videos with you, right? And I'm here right now. But as long as I'm creating more videos and I'm actually showing up, then I can make more mistakes. I can make blunders where I don't have to edit out certain things that I feel like, oops, I said it wrong. But let's just say if I showed up to work today and I only did one video with you, then I'm going to be focusing all of my energy into that one video and I'm going to try to make everything perfect. I don't have to be perfect as long as I'm working off of speed. Another great analogy that they talked about when it comes to speed is that think of an airplane that's flying, right? I mean, the airplane only is able to work because of the momentum and the speed that it's going, and it's able to keep flying. You're able to keep flying as long as you have the momentum. It's easier to just keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop. Just keep going, and you're able to make as many mistakes as you want to. But then what you're going to learn is the mistakes are beautiful because you have the momentum that's going. What I've learned in art, which is crazy, is a lot of times people will buy your momentum. They won't even buy the beauty of your art, of what you think is the beauty of the art or what you're doing. They'll buy you. And a part of you is that you're showing up and you have momentum. And that's a great thing for them because they call it prolific. You're being prolific. So let's write that down here as well. I'm gonna put a star on right there because that was a cool one that I just thought of right now. That's really what it comes down to, is that you being prolific is an admirable thing to people, because a lot of people they really honor the speed that you're doing. They honor the speed of your work. So show up, do speed. I do 10 to 12 minutes on the canvas. You see how I also work it. I do 2 timers. I got a 90-minute, and then I got the 10 to 12 minutes. The 90 minutes is counting down, so that way I can take my break after that, as long as I'm focused within that 90 minutes. And then within that 90 minutes, I work 10 to 12 minutes in the time frame. So that means that here I'm knocking out 7 to 8 canvases within that time. And then that's fine with me, as long as I know that I'm not focused on the quantity of the canvas that I'm doing. I'm focused on the time and the speed in that time frame, because I can control that. Another thing to focus on is that when we're doing data, or I apologize, when we're doing speed, makes it sound like drugs. When we're doing speed, no, when we're doing speed and we're focusing on speed, right? We get data faster, which means that we get feedback. This is so important. Like, this is so important, and this comes to anything that you want to do in your life. This is the foundation to 6 figures. You have to get feedback. You're not going to be able to get feedback if you're not working in speed, if you're not producing fast. And if you're not working fast, and let's just say that you're only producing a couple of lottery tickets, I put loader here, lottery. There we go. If you're not producing a bunch of lottery tickets, then you're not going to be able to get any data. You're not going to get any feedback. You're not going to get feedback of what works in the market. You're not going to know what works in the market. You're not going to know what works with people, of what they want to buy from you, of what they want to get, of wherever the data points is in the market, because the market is always cyclical. It always changes, but you're not going to be able to know where you lie at if you're not producing fast enough and having the speed. So I say this is probably the most important. I could probably end the video right here and just go off of this. I could talk about this for hours, that speed is everything when it comes to business. I mean, there's this great part where I always bring this up because someone shared it in the community, where it's this video of Iron Man 1. And even though Tony Stark or whatever, he's supposed to be this genius or whatever, and he flies up when he's testing the suit for the first time, he flies up, and then he realizes, or he finds out that the suit gets crystallized with ice, right? And he wouldn't have known that unless he wasn't doing analysis by paralysis. He was going off his speed. So a lot of times the most successful people, they actually find out the mistakes and they find the system, they find out the feedback. He found out the feedback by flying up into the sky, and then the system locked up with ice and he was able to free the ice off. But then at the end of the movie, when he was fighting the bad guy, Jeff Bridges or whatever, and Jeff Bridges had the knockoff suit, he flew Jeff Bridges up into the sky, and then Jeff Bridges, he lost because he had the ice or whatever froze up his suit, and he was like, oh, you didn't figure that part out because they were too busy trying to analyze everything. A lot of times you can analyze so much that you don't even move. You do paralysis. So that's a way for you to just get feedback is speed. That's probably gonna be one of the biggest things that the longest one that I talk about on here, because it's so important. It's a lot of times, even in life, right? You don't even have to have certain systems built out yet. Like you don't even have to have let's just say you don't even have certain parts of your online course or certain things built out yet completely. Don't think that you have to have everything perfect and you have to have everything built out for you to proceed. You could just work off at the speed, and then you'll get the data points from the market if they like what you're trying to present, if they like what you're doing, and you could apply that as well to anything, but especially when it comes to art, so that way you can have the data points, all right? Now, this goes hand in hand, and it's volume. Speed goes hand in hand with volume. Because when I'm working off of 10 to 12 minutes in a 90-minute block, like I said, I'm doing 7 to 8 or even 9 of them canvases at that time, paintings. I'm not looking at how many I'm doing. I'm even trying not to even look, but I know that I'm working it within 10 to 12 minutes. So that means that the volume at the end of my day, I'm producing at between 30 and 50 paintings. Because I do this full time. So in my blocks, I'll have 5 different 90-minute blocks. So if you do the math on that, I'm producing between 30 and 50 paintings. And as long as I have the volume, I'm able to do as many mistakes as I want to. We talked about that. I have more lottery tickets to play around with. My mind is not involved in it. I don't care. I'm more free to create the mistakes because I'm flying. And as long as I'm flying, remember, we had the momentum to keep on going. So any kind of mistake or anything that happens, I'm not concerned about it. Now, the thing that scares me the most, and I've been doing this for a while, like I said, I sold over 17,000 paintings, and that's just on eBay. I sold probably over 1,000 outside of eBay, all right? Maybe even more than that. But the thing that keeps me going and I'm able to paint and I'm able to do my mistakes, or I'm able to create the way that I am prolific, is that I feel like I'm flying, and as long as I'm here, then I'm not worried. But the thing that scares me is if I don't create, or maybe if I take some time off, I gotta start all over again. And psychologically, it's hard for me because I understand it's more hard to get that momentum going, right? It's just like going to the gym. I always say it's like going to the gym. The hardest part about going to the gym is that you start off and you're like, oh, it's gonna hurt, or I gotta do these reps. But it's like doing push-ups, right? If you know you gotta do 20 push-ups, just get on the ground and do 3 of them. And then you're gonna feel the momentum to keep going, and you're gonna do 5 of them, you're gonna do 10 of them. You're gonna keep going because then you got the momentum, and then it gets easier. But then the hardest part about working out is when you stop and you gotta start back over again. So that's why people are like, man, Corbellic, you're always working, or it seems like you're always busy with something, with different business ideas and different structures. Yeah, I do that not because I enjoy what I do and I'm used to working. I do it because I understand psychologically it's important for me to have volume in order for me to be successful. The moment that I stop is the moment that it's even harder for me to start back over again, and I start second guessing myself. So volume is important. I do 30, 50 paintings, that's a day. And I don't focus on having one Mona Lisa. I always call it the Mona Lisa because Mona Lisa is where you're focused on having one beautiful painting, or maybe you want to focus on having 3 beautiful paintings. a day. Now, if you just focus on having 1 or 3 beautiful paintings in a day, then you're not giving yourself the lottery ticket effect where you have more probability out there of being successful, where you can make mistakes. So you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna be stuck in your mind and you're gonna be like, well, I only did 3 or 5 paintings today, so I gotta get these right. You're gonna be having your ego involved, and you're going to be arrogant thinking that you know what's better for the market. And you can't judge the market. You can't predict what the market is going to be. The only thing that you're going to be able to predict and able to succeed off of is making sure that you have volume, that you show up, and that you produce more than what you consume. Now, I'm trying to talk about where I'm talking about art, of course, but I'm also talking about business as well, because when it comes to art, this is important, but I also consult people on business and mindset as well. So these are the things that I talk about when I'm consulting clients in my other businesses, where I'm telling them their mindset of how to be successful, because I've started multiple businesses and how to be successful and how to build them up from the ground up. And these are the same concepts of how I was able to do it. It's just not about art, but we were traditionally trained wrong in how they tell us. So I'm not gatekeeping anything. The things that I'm telling you right now, these are free lessons that I'm giving you that people pay thousands of dollars. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on courses just so that I can learn a lot of these principles that I'm giving to you. So don't focus on having one Mona Lisa in your life. Don't focus on, I'm going to make sure this one thing that I do is perfect. It could be you building up a website or something like that, and you want to make sure everything's perfect. But then what's going to happen? You put it out to the market, and the market doesn't bite it. You can't control that. You can't control that. That's why when people run ads or any form of business, they always are testing the ads, and they're throwing a lot of money out there, or they're trying different ad copies or trying different pictures, because they don't even know what it is. It's the lottery ticket effect. And then when you see the one that's winning, then you double down on it. That goes back into feedback. So the more volume that we have, the more data and the more feedback that we can have. All right, so another thing is that with volume, you're going to be feeding the algo. It's all about that algo, baby. It's all about that algo in 25, 26. Let's put that here. Now we're headed into 2026. And probably if you're watching this video, more than likely we're in 2026, all right? But we're on the last days right now in 2025. But it's all about that algo, which is the algorithm. You gotta feed the algorithm, you gotta feed the beast. That's the name of the game. You have to feed the beast, you have to feed the engagement. So let's just say, for example, if you have volume and you have something built up, right? Like you're ready to rock and roll, and let's just say you have 300 paintings or 300 items or anything where you have a large volume of whatever you have in your business or in your life. Don't drop the whole damn thing in one day. You gotta feed the algorithm so the algorithm knows that you're consistent and that you are someone who's showing up every single day. It doesn't matter what system it is. I mean, this works especially, of course, with eBay, but I'm just saying in general, so you can have the foundation of 6 figures. You have to feed, everything is based off of AI and algorithm now. So when you're feeding it, don't drop everything in one day and be like, woo, I'm done. Because then the algo is gonna be like, all right, you just dropped 100, 300 today of these paintings that you had saved up for a while, or maybe you just got into the game. They're gonna be like, all right, what about tomorrow though? What about the day after? And then you're gonna be saying, well, what are you talking about, algo? The other day I just dropped 300 on you. I just dropped 100 on you. They don't care about that. If I was you, what you need to do with the algo is feeding the algo. You need to make sure if you got a bulk number, I'm just saying, like if you had a bulk number of the 300, 100 or whatever like that, right? Separate those out into the week, all right? Divide that 100 into the 7 days or into the 10 days. That way, every single day, you're releasing 10 and you got those saved up. But if you're releasing those 10 on each one of those days, don't be kicking your feet up and be like, oh, I got work that's already being released. I don't have to do nothing for another 10 days until I'm empty. Nah, show up to work like it's a full day. Still show up to work, produce the things that you need to be producing, and then put it on top of the algo. all right? So that way you're gonna be having stacked up on top of it. So you're still showing up and you're being productive. You're still working, you're still producing, even though you have things backed up and you could be dropping them. Don't drop all your ammo on one day. Feed the algorithm so that way it knows that you're consistent. You're rewarded that way with engagement. That's how it works. It's just like anything else. YouTube, Instagram, eBay, Etsy. Feed the algorithm so that way they know that you're participating every single day and that you're there. Don't just drop all of your stuff one day and think that you're going to get rewarded that way. It doesn't work. Now, number 3 is pricing. Pricing is important. Pricing is so important when you got to have the foundation, right? Because you want to be able to serve everybody in your business. You want to serve everybody in your business, especially when you're selling art, especially when it comes to eBay. So, and it's important so you can have a variation. You want to have a variation of different price points. You want to have where you're doing auctions, right? And our auctions start at 99 cents. I have a whole video explaining the psychology behind that sales. I also break down inside the community where there was a thesis that was performed in Berkeley where it breaks down the best sales psychology when it comes to that, when it comes to eBay, and how people like to do auctions when it comes to bidding, and they want to feel like they're winning, the competitiveness, the price points, everything is built for you. So when you join the eBay art community with my coaching program, I have everything built out for you. I have the templates, I have the PDFs, everything that you could just copy and paste into your account. Everything is built out for you. I have the SEO words that you could choose on there. There's no guessing game. Everything is good for you, so it can be laid out. Only thing you have to do is just follow the instructions that's on there and you can get your account going. I have a 14-day sales activity challenge, so that way you could be up and running within next week and you can start selling your artwork. All right, so click the link below, join us. Every Sunday we have a mastermind meeting and you can join us in there, ask me direct questions and get all the help you can. But the variations of different art. So not only do we do auctions, but we also work off of combined shipping. The combined shipping is important because that's how we're able to really bring in the money when it comes to the auctions. When it comes to the combined shipping, people want to save money, right? But not only do they want to save money, they want to have the psychology where they're like, hey, if I'm already going to be invested and I'm already doing the shipping and then you're showing up every single day, you're feeding the algorithm, they know that they have more art to bid on tomorrow. They might not even want the art piece today, but then there's going to be something that's going to make them bid on it just so they could have a placeholder for tomorrow's art pieces because they know that you're feeding the algorithm every single day. It's all about being consistent. You have to be consistent. All of these things work together. And like I said, we have a system in place where all of these things, it's already mapped out for you. So that way you don't have to do it yourself and you don't have to be lost in it. You can have a checklist system of what you need to be doing daily and how you need to have this snowball effect going. But with the combined shipping, we have a rule that's already placed in there. That's broken down. That's going to be the first thing that I show you is how to set up your account inside the combined shipping. That's the first thing. It's going to be creating a combined shipping rule, all right, when you create your account. And that's just going to be a gem right there. It took me years and so much money that I lost because I didn't have this implemented. So you're going to be way further than me just by you starting off. Now, another thing when it comes to pricing is you're going to have your bin. Like Corbellic, what are you talking about bin? A lot of people are like, what is bin? What's bin? What's the bin? The bin is your buy it now. The bin is your buy it now. The buy it now is so important. And from here, I'm talking about having price points in here from $100 to $10,000. Why not? Who's to tell you what your price points are? You want to have the perception and where you are of a gold standard. Don't race to the bottom. A lot of people in life, it doesn't matter what kind of business that you're in, they always want to race to the bottom because they think that it's going to be easier for them to just turn out sales, and people are going to go towards the sale, and they're going to go because you're cheaper than the competitor. And that's not true at all. I mean, there's so many examples of that you already know already. When you think about fashion, what do people always want to gravitate towards too? They always want to gravitate toward the ones that's a little bit more expensive. When they're thinking about Ferrari, when they're thinking about Lamborghini, when they're thinking about Rolexes, when they're thinking about Louis Vuitton, when they're thinking about fashion brands and things like that, they always want to go for the one that's a little bit more expensive. But not only that, whatever that you're going to be doing in your life, it's going to be run off of algorithm, but also that's going to be run off a system that you need to feed. And these things are dependent upon you making money, but also by you making money, you make the algorithm money, which the algorithm is making eBay or Etsy or any system that you're doing. It could be even Spotify. You're making them money. So they're not going to promote you, and they're not going to look at you as high regards if you're racing to the bottom all the time and you want to have low prices. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do it because it's not even worth it. So make sure that you have a variation of price points, but make sure when you do have your buy it nows that you're not racing to the bottom. All right. That's a free gem that I'm giving to you right there, but you could be learning more about this inside the coaching program. But that's just something that I had to explain. That's important. All right. So don't race to the bottom on there. Have a variation of different price points on there. All right. So here, let me clear this out, and then we could go on to the last points that I want to talk about that's important. Clean this out right here. The last part is extremely important. I mean, it's all important. I just got done having the Christmas break. I feel good to be back at work. I mean, it was also nice as well too to spend time with the family, relax a little bit. It's been years since I actually had a chance to relax for Christmas. You know, actually not feel guilty about not working or creating for eBay. But that's part of the grind. I mean, it is what it is. These are the foundations as well, thinking about things like that, because nobody's going to care about your life or your business better than you are. And there's nothing wrong with having to create or having to have a business. That's a great thing. It's a blessing just to even say that you have your own business and that you need to create, you need to be consistent. Because I understood for the holidays that it wasn't going to wait for anything. I still needed to feed the algorithm, as we talk about. I still needed to show up and feed that algorithm. All right. So, number 4, which is also important. All of these are so important, you know, like I keep saying that like one's more important than the other, but it's really not. They're all so important. You got to have systems. And what do I mean when I say systems in place? I mean, you got to have a routine that's the same. I always say that I'm a lazy artist. I'm a lazy artist, but I'm productive. And the way that I'm being productive is because I have a system in place. I have a system in place about things that I do. So that way I can not have to think too much. I don't want to have to think. I don't want to have to show up to work and think about what kind of, I'm going to put checklist here. I don't want to have to show up to work and think about what kind of references that I need to do the next day, or what kind of paintbrush that I need to do, what kind of canvases that I need to do, what kind of art, what kind of everything that I do has a system in place, has a point A to point B to point C. I have to have it that way. And if I'm going to be able to move fast, if I'm going to be able to do volume. If you don't have this in place, you're going to be lost throughout the day. You're going to be like a chicken with its head cut off. And trust me, it's the worst feeling. When I didn't have the systems in place or a checklist, I was going broke. I was losing money, because here I'm thinking that I'm being productive just because I'm showing up to work and I'm moving my feet around. But then at the end of the day, I'm looking at my data and I don't have no data points. I don't have anything because I don't have the systems in place. It's kind of like, what's the old saying that they say, I want to be like a wet pig coming out the gate or something like that, right? Like a wet pig coming out, where there's no friction, there's no static, there's nothing going on that's going to stop you throughout your day. So I have templates. And I have the same process. Let's see here. I have templates. I have the same canvas order, and I have these all on the checklist. Now, when you think about checklists, think about like a surgeon, or think about pilots. They always have a checklist, even though they've done 10,000 hours, or they've done hundreds of thousands of hours, or how many ever hours that they need in order to fly or in order for them to do surgery. Even still, because the mind will play tricks on itself to think that you're being more productive than you are. And you need to have these checklists, things broken down, so that way you could just have your day set out to be. So for me, I have templates that's already built in eBay. I don't have to think about what category things are in. I don't have to think about what kind of specific item specifics. In my program, I show you how you could do the fastest listings faster than anybody, because we have templates that's already built out for you, or I have templates that's already built out for you. So that way, only thing you have to do is copy paste. And that's one of the first lessons that you're going to learn inside the program, is how to build up your templates, because it's important. And the templates is the canvas size. So it's the let me put that here. The templates is your canvas, and it's important because this way you don't ever have to think about it in the future. You can just go into it, click which one that it is, boom, everything's built out for you. And that's at the end of the day. If I didn't have this, I wouldn't be able to create, because then I would be thinking to myself, like, I have multiple jobs. Oh, I gotta paint. Oh, I gotta take pictures. Oh, I gotta crop the pictures and I gotta do all this. Oh, I gotta do listings. That sucks. That's like having like 4 different jobs. I don't wanna feel like I got 4 different jobs. I wanna have a system in place where I know what I'm doing, I have everything mapped out, and boom, it's done. So here, as long as I have the same process every day, which is the same process, then there's no guessing, there's no guesswork, there's no friction, all right? Same process, and these are things that's important. These are the foundations to 6 figures. Number 5 is being consistent. Being consistent is the name of the game. This is the thing that's most important. I know I'm saying, all right, at this point, I'm saying that all of them are the most important. But this is the thing that holds all of them together. Without being consistent, none of them matter, because you need to be consistent every single day where everything is going to be showing up. You need to be consistent every day where everything's going to show. You need to be consistent where everything's going to be all rolled in together. This is how you get your snowball effect. All right. So as long as you're consistent and you're showing up every single day, then everything is going to be, let's see, like for example, I'm consistent where every day I start painting or I start working 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. It's always going to be that time. These are non-negotiables. These are non-negotiables. Being consistent is non-negotiable. I can't get out of that. because this is the thing that's going to make me consistent. Even if I'm having a bad day or a good day or anything, what's going to make sure that I have the sales and make sure that I have the six-figure foundation is that I'm consistent, that I'm at least showing up. I have to show up to work. That's how I get my snowball effect. How I get my snowball effect and how I'm going to be able to get the sales that I want, how I'm going to be able to have people show up and bid on my items, how I'm going to be able to make sure that people are buying from the bin, which is the buy it now store, how I'm going to be able to make sure that I have all of these things is to make sure that I have the snowball effect. I can't have the snowball effect here if I'm not being consistent. I have to be consistent. I have to show up every single day. And then if I don't show up every single day, I at least have to have a system in place where I have on the days that I have off, where I still have numbers and a system in place where it's still going to be feeding the algorithm. I'm still feeding the algorithm even on my days off. I have to. And that's just the system itself. Even if you run a business, you think there's a day where Starbucks, McDonald's, or any kind of corporation or any kind of business, you think they have a day off? No, they don't have a day off. Even on their days off, they don't have a day off. And that's how you need to be thinking about yourself in a business. That's if you really want it enough. If this is something where you don't want it enough and it's something where you just want to be half-assed about it, then you're going to get half-assed results if you're not going to get no results at all, especially in this time frame where you need to be in the mindset of succeeding. You need to be in the mindset of hustling. You need to care about yourself because no one else is going to care about you more than you. No one is going to care about your business more than you. So you need to have this mindset that these are non-negotiables. You need to build up that snowball effect. This is how it all works. And even if I'm having a bad day, a bad, slow sales day or anything like that, I mean, you're talking about corporations that have bad sales days or things aren't working, but as long as they're being consistent, then you're going to go back up. I always tell people, don't day trade numbers. If you day trade the numbers, you're going to feel like you're always losing. Instead, think about the future, and you're always going to be doing well as long as you're in the game and you're being consistent. Warren Buffett said he doesn't day trade. He looks at the futures. The futures where he plays the long game. He plays the long game, and as long as you play the long game, if you look at the stock market or any market, and if you look at it long term, it's going to look like this, where it goes up and down, but the whole trajectory is going up. But if you would day trade and you look at it on a daily basis, it's always going to be like it's going down. So if you were day trading, you're going to be having anxiety, and you're not going to want to be consistent. So in order for me to be consistent, I don't day trade. I don't day trade the numbers. And I would suggest the same thing for you. Don't day trade the numbers and no emotions into it. No emotions. As long as you have no emotions and you don't get your feelings into it of however you feel, oh, you're having a bad day, oh, you're having a bad sales day, oh, your stomach hurts, oh, you don't feel good. None of that stuff matters to me. I don't worry about that. I have to be consistent and I have to show up. I don't have to love it. I don't have to like it. I just have to get it done. I have to show up to work. And this is how I'm able to build up the foundation. Now, being consistent, this is the last one right here, is that everything works together. Everything works together. There's no luck. It's only systems. Everything works together. I mean, that just goes along with being consistent. Everything works together. So everything that we just named here, 1 through 6, they all work together. And you have to have a checklist system where you're making sure that you click these things off, and you're making sure that every single day you're being consistent, and that you have these foundations and you have these fundamentals going on into your business, into your art, into everything that you're doing. Take your emotions out of it. There is no luck. The only luck that I know that works is work. Work works. You're not going to have, there's no such thing as somebody who works so hard and they have bad luck. It's not going to happen, because luck is just preparation meets opportunity. You're not going to have the opportunity if you're not prepared. If you're not already working, if you're not already having the inventory, then when the opportunity comes your way, you're not even going to have where you can sell it. Let me give a great example, and this will be the ending note on this one. Let's just say that your tummy hurts. You don't feel good. You don't feel like working, so you don't show up to work. You don't produce the inventory because you feel like your sales aren't working the way that you want them to on 1 week, because you're day trading the numbers, right? And you don't produce the numbers. Then you get an opportunity that comes your way with the lack of preparation from you because your tummy hurts, and a hotel wants to buy quantities of art that you have, or a business wants to buy art from you, or a reseller wants to buy it from you from the buy it now gallery pricing. You can't even sell it to them because you weren't prepared, because preparation meets opportunity. The opportunity came your way, but you weren't prepared. It's all about being prepared. Work works. As long as you work, even if you're in the fog, even if you're in the lost and you don't know, all of these things in these systems, they all come together to make sure that you will hit your 6 figures. You will be able to be successful, but it all brings up together. All right. So that's what I got for you in this video. This was a real game changer, a real eye opener. These are the things right here that people teach in their courses, but I'm just giving it to you for free. If you want to learn more about this, how to build up your art business, how you could be successful, how you could start making sales as early as next week, click the link below, join us in the free eBay art community, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.